So I guess just real quick, can you tell us, the collective us, what the film is about?
Yeah, Lucky is a strange, it's a very strange story about a self-help book author who finds herself in a home invasion situation, and she sort of has to find out what's going on and try to survive sort of this repeated, almost Groundhog Day sort of home invasion scenario that keeps happening over and over.
Thank you so much for coming to our little group.
Thank you. This is a good bite. Lots of chocolate chips.
Oh, what?
Ted, I saw someone outside.
Honey, that's the man. He comes every night and tries to kill us.
We're just gonna leave him?
Oh, I'm sure he's already gone.
You said a man comes into our house
Every night and tries to kill us. Hey, pull it together.
What?
You're alone, isolated. A man could appear at any time.
He keeps coming back. He should be dead. This man could be anywhere.
I just don't know what I would do in that situation.
Sure is scary. Very. I'm sorry, did I come at a bad time? I tried to call, but...
I told you that something supernatural was happening. Would you believe me? We are being attacked. There's no rationalizing it. There is no saving us. So get used to it.
I read that you guys were supposed to premiere this at South by last year.
Yeah, that's right. It was very sad. Yeah, it was an interesting experience because we were sort of in some ways like canary in the coal mine with the pandemic. It was right before sort of the rest of the states, I think, had sort of caught on to, you know, what a big deal it was going to be. I think we were about a week before, you know, the NBA shut down and Tom Hanks got COVID, sort of these big moments. So yeah, that was tough, but I think the festival world, I think, got really creative, and they found ways to sort of pivot and still get their audiences excited about films and still get the films out there. So we found a way.
I've been to South by a couple times, and I think this would have been like the perfect film for that audience.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was really looking forward to sort of that midnight screening and just like the vibe. But you know, maybe someday we'll bring it back.
How did you initially get involved in this?
Yeah, so the script was actually sent to me by a producer who was interested in making the movie. So I read it and I was excited to read it, partially because I was a fan of Brea's and we knew each other socially, and you know, there was sort of I had a sense of her sense of humor, you know, and sort of who she was as a person and what her ethos was. And so I read the script and I really loved it. And I felt like I had a grasp on what it was that she was trying to do with the script. So I gave her a call, I finished the script, I gave her a call and I sort of said, hey, look, here's what I like about it. Here's what I think I can bring to the project. And we talked a little bit about her intention. And, you know, we just had a really great sort of initial conversation. And out of that conversation, we then went back to the producers and everything sort of got moving from there. But it was really just being sent the script initially.
So she wrote the script. What was it like to direct? Your lead actress is the same person who wrote the script.
Yeah, it was really great, honestly. I think, you know, because we were friends first, we were able to sort of start our working relationship from a place of just a lot of honesty and very straightforward. Not a lot of like ego or anything like being threatened by, you know, each other or anything like that. None of that was ever really part of the calculation. So I think we were just very focused on what was best for the movie. And so really our strategy was, let's tackle all of the writing stuff first. We did all of our revisions, made the alterations that need to happen. And then she really sort of took off her writer's hat and put on her actor's hat. And at that point forward, really just focused on the performance and what she needed to do to inhabit that role. So I think that was the right way to do it, because I think hopefully that way, you know, she didn't feel spread too thin or like she was juggling many things.
I mean, along those lines, like, do you really have to sort of direct her? I mean, she knows this character sort of inside and out, you know, almost probably as well as you do. Do you really have to sort of direct her or fine tune anything, or is it just like, you know, just go, have at it?
Oh, no, we definitely were directing, you know, we were working on the scene work together. I think she did a lot of, she actually wanted some roads into the character because she never wrote it with the intention of playing it. So I think she was looking for, you know, some insights into getting rolling with the character. And, you know, that was everything from like broad strokes, sort of objective motivation stuff to down to, you know, this is how I see her doing her hair. This is the kind of clothing she likes to wear. So once we sort of had those initial like big tentpole things figured out, I think at that point Brea was like, okay, got it, you know, and then she was able to sort of dive in and develop the character from there. But a lot of those initial conversations, I think she was welcoming outside perspective because she had never really thought of it as a role that she herself would play, because she is so different from that person. And yeah, but I think, you know, for the other actors, I think there is also a sense of like comfort and intimacy knowing that the writer is your scene partner and that, you know, everybody is there really committed to the project, really understands the character and what we're doing. And so I think that I think it does make a difference. You know, I think everybody's just a little bit more comfortable and excited, and it doesn't feel like a job. You know, it feels like, oh, this is from your brain. So, you know, everybody's professional. They're always going to do great work. But I think it was just one extra added layer of feeling close to the project and an intimacy.
I want to ask you about the mask design. Like masks in horror films are so iconic. Was it like sort of daunting to come up with something?
Not too much. There were a lot of early conversations, but I think from the beginning, I was interested in a mask that didn't necessarily look like a mask. And so there was always sort of that intention was there from the beginning. We played around with a few different creepy things, but I never wanted it to be like a mask that you could buy in a store. You know, it always was sort of this thing that felt like from a distance, maybe you wouldn't even register that person is wearing a mask, right? Like it just looks like there's something strange and off-putting about that person. And so I think after that initial, we had all sort of agreed that was the ethos behind the mask. It was really just about dialing in and, you know, also just, it's a very low budget movie, right? So figuring out how we can pull it off with the resources that we have. And we had a lot of really great input from producers and from the mask designer and prosthetics artists and all that kind of stuff. So it was really just dialing in the little details of what we liked. For example, one detail that Jeff Farley, who designed the mask, came up with was to actually put the name of the victim on the mouth of the mask, which you can't really see, but it is there. And it sort of has this like creepy underlying, it's like a little Easter egg, you know, people can go back in, they can see it if they want. So little things like that were just a real joy as people came with their own ideas to the table.
And the actor who, I don't know if we should give his, you know, who it is away, but who wears the mask, he does this really great job of like physicality without being able to use his face. I mean, how do you sort of direct somebody to do that?
Yeah, well, initially, the first step is we knew we wanted to cast a stuntman. So that was always really important to us, that he be an actor, but also have a background in stunts. And we found Hunter, who is just the perfect combination of all of those things, and also had the look that we wanted. So we were like, the moment we found him, we were like, oh, amazing. I actually watched, I think he had like it was a fan film where he plays the Joker. So like the Batman's Joker.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh man, this guy goes all the way. I love it. I love his physicality. So we called him, he did a great audition for us. And the physicality was absolutely important because he, as you said, he does not speak. You can't even really use his face for most of it. So it's all got to be his expression through his body. And it was a lot of just sort of talking through, because he is sort of this supernatural creature, finding ways to ground it, you know, and finding ways to sort of keep the body work consistent and logical in a way that made sense for him. One of the metaphors that really worked for him was this idea of like a toy soldier. So like just finding these inorganic, inhuman sort of things that he could fit himself into, I think was really helpful for his process.
I think I only got you for like a couple more minutes, but I'm an actor and this is the acting website. So I always like to ask people who are on the other side of the table some questions. So from your perspective, what sort of differentiates someone that you want to cast in a role or call back for a role from someone who's just kind of, you know, okay, they're fine.
Yeah. I really like to see that the actor is grounding themselves in something that feels more solid than necessarily what's down in the sides. So making a decision to again really ground yourself in a choice, right? Whatever your choice is, I think embracing it and not showing too much, right? Not going overly, you know, not demonstrating too much or anything like that, but rather just making a choice that feels bold, and then making sure that you are listening. I like to see that they're listening, that they are, again, always grounding themselves in the, in also the openness of it, right? So like when the other person is reading the other lines, are you still in character, right? Like, are you still grounded in that place? Are you still making those choices? Are you listening? Those kind of things seem so basic, but in so many tapes, I see actors not doing that. That sort of like very basic thing of like, are you waiting to say your line and then you're going into it? So I think just, again, sticking with your choices all the way through. And if you're giving options, you know, really giving options and making bold choices. Yeah, it's a really tough question to answer. But yeah, and I think unfortunately a lot of people do respond to big auditions, and I am not one of those people. I would rather see a smaller audition that's more internalized, but that you are really grounding it, you're really listening, you're really sticking to your choice and not going big and physical just for the sake of, you know, appealing to very bored people who have been looking at, you know, 4 hours of audition tapes. So I think that's kind of important for me.
Do you like the self-tape, watching self-tape auditions as opposed to having people come in, you know, to do it in front of you?
You know, it's really hard for me. I will say this is probably not what people want to hear, but I will usually call actors that I've already worked with, and I will find a way to adjust a character to fit an actor who I love. Because no, I don't love self-tapes. I don't think you can really tell that much. You can tell if somebody has the capacity to act for camera, which is important, but that doesn't give you as much information as you need that you get from workshopping with someone. You know, like ideally you can do callbacks with every single actor and put them with a scene partner and really work through options and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's almost about building relationships with filmmakers. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes you just got to audition for something.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but I will if I really love working with an actor, and it could just be somebody who I worked with for, half a day, but we had a really great relationship. They really they responded to direction. They took direction well. They really came with their own ideas. That I'm more likely to call that person than be excited about someone I've never met before. So I'll just say there is a lot of that intimacy thing that's important.
Well, I think I might have gone over my time, but thank you so much. I really liked the movie. I thought it was great.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
my wife loved it too. Yeah, it was wonderful.
That means a lot. I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting the film.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully I'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much.